Welcome in everybody to the North American Challenger League Summer OQ2 quarterfinals. Yes, we have our final 8 teams ready to duke it out. One of them will be getting a promotion slot guaranteed by finishing first place. Will it be a team that desperately needs it, like Reluminate, or will it be a team that already has it locked, like Dragoons, Goons? My name is Yanni. I'm joined here by DBZ Freak, and we have coverage of the two teams I just mentioned, Dragoons, Goons versus Reluminate. This should be a pretty tough matchup for Illuminate. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna keep it a stack here. DBZ Freak, Dragoons, Goons. They've just been an absolute juggernaut.
Yeah, I watched their series from last week a little bit ago, and they were down in both games and still came back to win the both of them. So that is something that Reluminate is going to have to keep in mind going into this series. And one thing that I highlighted in my notes that as I was getting ready for this series is Reluminate went to 3 games in all of their series. So Dragoons 2-0'd their way to this point. So this is definitely a mountain to climb that I'm excited to see. Are you excited to see this? Because I know you and I mostly predicted 2-0s, but I mean, anything can happen. Reluminate usually resurfaces after their first loss. So anything could happen. This is going to be spicy.
Hey, listen, it's always exciting being on the cast and seeing, great players, man. For all the talk we've had about Dragoons, Goons, and a minute we've been live,
Yeah.
there's good players on both sides, especially on the side of Reluminate. Nightstar has had a fantastic tournament so far. He has been, I've always liked Nightstar. I've always seen him around, but he's really been a big prize, that a guy that I didn't know had that extra gear in him. So, being able to see that is great. And, we'll see if Reluminate has that extra gear to be able to punch Dragoons, Goons in the mouth. Remember, the winner will be moving on to the semifinals. The loser, their run is done. Dragoons, Goons, if their run is done, they don't care. They're going to be in the promotion tournament anyway. But Reluminate, they cannot afford to lose. We, chatted a little bit about some of the players, but really, when you take a look at the lineups top to bottom, we don't have a graphic for them, but we'll just read them off. Dragoons, Goons, Dragoon in the top lane, Kizno in the jungle, Sudsy in the mid lane, Array in the bottom lane, and Dabshin at support. These are all players that should be in the NACL. Anything less than first place is a disappointment.
I definitely agree with you. On the other side is Reluminate. We have Lancelot Link in the top lane, Ivan in the jungle, which I just found out about 30 minutes ago. That's Mike Young's cousin, so hey, there's that. And then we have Lycomos in the mid lane, Nightstar in the bottom lane that we have highlighted, and Synotic in the support role as well. And I actually wanted to kind of roll it back a little bit to Nightstar in particular. One thing that I noticed from their games is the team likes to play through Nightstar, because when Nightstar comes ahead in the laning phase, they accelerate the rest of the team. They start kind of bulldozing their way through the rest of the game. So I think the primary focus is going to be this bottom lane from both of these teams, because like I just said, Nightstar ahead, Reluminate wins, and that's how it goes. Because in the games that I saw them lose, that was the name where Nightstar was behind. So Nightstar being behind is something that I think Dragoons want to kind of get going for them. Now we are on patch 14.16 before I get a little too ahead of myself. So we have a lot of changes that came through, particularly in the middle lane. So mages are back. As I say that, I saw Corky in the LCS today, so that is still very much a pick. But we could have Smolder as the
Old habits die hard.
Honestly, as we're going ahead and going into draft. So like I said, 14-16. Hey, hello. We got Tristana that got gutted, so we don't have to see her much anymore. However, Corky is still stupid. Yeah.
Tristana's one of my favorite champions, but
okay, that's fair.
I am interested to see what Dragoons Goons does. Sudsy was really excellent on these AD picks, specifically Tristana and Corky. We didn't see very much Zeri out of him. We didn't see very much Lucian out of him, right? Which are still valid mid lane picks. So seeing that his 2 most picked AD mid laners have been nerfed, he's still going back to the Corky. Obviously, we haven't seen the Tristana too much because I got to be honest, it's damn near unplayable, man. I tried it in Emerald Elo, and it's just unplayable, So I don't think we'll see it come here. But running through a couple of these picks and bans, I like the junglers that Reluminate took away.
The Aurora ban.
Yeah, that Aurora ban, as you mentioned. But yeah, I like the junglers they took away. Don't want to make sure that Kizno is not on a carry like that Kindred or that Zyra. We're gonna see a first pick Nico come in here. That's I remember when mid lane used to be last pick.
Yeah, that's why I'm very interested to see why they picked it this early. I mean, maybe like Amaz is absolutely cracked on it and has been cracked on it in scrims. Now, alternatively, this could be a Nico top. 80 Nico top is something that we rarely see, but it's possible. Again, Smolder being another flex pick as well, but now I'm going to flip over to Dragoons, who picked up the Brand and the Ezreal, which is very unsurprising. Brand is still busted. Ezreal is still stupid, no matter what the meta is. And then the response is going to be the Rel on B3, which I like that per se, because you can pair up Rel with Nico really hardcore in some of these later game team fights, and the Alistar is the classic counter pick into that. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and pinch the jungle pool going into phase 2. So the buy being taken off the table. And then there's the Corki that you mentioned. So getting that out of the hands of Sudsy, and that's one of those other picks. It's okay, like, okay, what do we do here? Because Smolder was the count is usually typically the answer into Corki, but now you're taking one of those picks off the table that is like comfort for Sudsy. So from here, it's like, okay, well, what do we have left? The Yone being taken off the table. So this leaves Dragoons in a kind of interesting position as the pool gets further pinched.
Yeah, now the question I have a feeling that's going to go in the mid lane, mostly because I watched a Woody Fruity video the other day where a Tryndamere went mid lane. I don't know. That's just completely, I just feel it in my jowls, but I have no idea what the hell is going on here. It is a Dragoon-esque champion, and on the other side, Reluminate going to pick up the
Okay.
Mordekaiser and the Ivern. Now,
Ivern, yeah.
this is, I mean, they have a lot of magic damage. With Smolder coming on so late, we're going to see an Olaf come in too. It is a Tryndamere mid. I'm a goddamn genius.
All right, so not familiar too much with Tryndamere mid in competitive play outside of
Yeah.
solo queue. So like that's really where I see it. It's annoying. It's a split pusher that you can never touch because he might kill the three of you if he gets super far ahead. Into the Nico, it will be a little hard. I only say a little until Tryndamere hits 6, and it's like, well, we're just gonna step on the gas and go. That's just how the champion plays. And Sudsy, I noticed, likes to play like that. They like to play aggro, so they will go ahead and push their own tempo. So very interesting to see that these two teams go for these types of draft. Now, for anyone who hasn't watched this before, this is Fearless Draft, fun fact.
Yeah.
So whatever gets played here will not be available for game 2. So I'm kind of happy that we're starting off pretty spicy going into game 1. What are your final thoughts, especially like kind of looking at this draft, in particular Dragoon's draft?
Yeah, so I had a couple questions about this mid jungle duo
Mhm.
in terms of their champion content, not as them as players. They're very excellent players, but Tryndamere Brand does not feel like a combo that it has a lot of harmony to it.
Mhm.
Your only CC opportunity is the Brand. Now the good news is they are going against the Ivern, so there's not a whole lot of like, hey, we're gonna mid jungle 2v2. I would have felt like maybe it wasn't as kind to them, but Kisno is going to be able to rip through these camps and then be able to provide some assistance to these solo laners that really need to make sure they get off the ground. As we are
Mhm.
here on to Summoner's Rift DBZ Freak. Game 1 here between ReluminateGG and Dragoon's Goons. And Dragoon's Goons, they chose to be on the red side. And with a wacky ass draft like this, I can see why.
Oh no, if Kisno gets caught here, this is pretty doomed.
Oh, he gets pulled in. He gets
Oh
ignited. He
no,
gets
he's dead!
rooted. He held the flash in the back pocket. Nightstar is the one who gets first blood.
Wow. Well, what did I say earlier? Nightstar gets ahead, they win. Now, I'm going to refer to a little note that I wrote in my iPad before watching the series for Reluminate. They thrive off early game chaos. You're not expecting a 5-man in the jungle at that. And it's completely unexpected. That gives First Blood over to Nightstar, and that's the tempo that they want. They want Nightstar to be ahead. And honestly, I mean, props to Kisno for not flashing there, but they held their own, and also, this is the Dragoons' comfort zone, I will add too, because like I mentioned before, the games that I watched that they won, they were down every single game. So everything is coming according to plan, more or less. But of course, it's very early in this series. We got a long ways to go. As my friend says, the season is long, in this case, referring to the series. So anything can happen between now and when we're done.
You know, although they've been doing well from behind, it doesn't feel like getting behind is exactly the plan. So maybe
No.
it's not all according to plan, but things, obviously good for Illuminate, but it's still early, right? And that just shows the resiliency of Dragoon's Goons because of other player content, right? Everybody
Mhm.
on their team is just so damn good. Like
Yeah.
they're the cream of the crop. They should not be here right now. If there was old NACL with all those teams, what, there was like 16 teams that one year, or 14 or something like
14,
that.
I
I
think.
can't
Yeah.
exactly remember the exact amount. They wouldn't be here right now. They'd be playing in there. So that's why it's going to be an uphill battle for Illuminate. They need every little bit that they can get. And I want to see how Kisno is going to make an impact toward these lanes. And, you know, taking a look at it, things seem to be going well for the mid and top lane. What's Ivan going to do?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, because Brand is obviously going to have the much faster tempo than the Ivern. Ivern is just going to be looking towards mitigating like any lanes that could potentially go awry. And as we see in the top lane, that's an 11 CS lead. Okay, I thought mid was about to get spicy, but never mind. So it's a 14 CS lead in the top lane right now. Mordekaiser has not been able to farm, and he's actually going to get proxied right here, and he's able to do so. I mean, Ivern's on the other side of the map. Not that he probably knows that, but still willing to take this chance of proxying this wave. Gonna clear this out, and most likely either go for a second wave or back off from here. But this gold lead in the top lane, I have to imagine, is pretty sizable. That is the most BM recall I have seen in quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, Lancelot Link is lucky that Kisno elected to clear top to bottom, right? You know, most junglers at this point weak side their top lane, but with an Ezreal Alistar on the bottom, you know, there was a world where Kisno could have cleared bottom to top, and, you know, then all of a sudden we're talking about a dive and Lancelot Link's game being over, but
Yeah.
it's Olaf Brand, not exactly the combination that's always going to get that done without fail.
Yeah, I'm definitely anticipating that we're probably going to wait until Brand maybe starts getting a little bit of the Blackfire touch, unless we're going to Landry's first. Hold that thought.
Unless we're going to head to the bot lane, Nightstar is going to take a solid chunk of damage, but nothing more. Just trying to put as much pressure as they can on this Smolder, trying to keep the stacks away.
Yeah, and it looks like Ivern is going to get the second spawn of Raptors. Actually, he cancels the recall, Kisno. So I think they still believe that a play can happen down here, spending a lot of time.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking to stack the wave here and, you know, try to burn the next one. But it looks like the wave is just going against them at this point. It's a little too even, but it should be okay. But I think Kisno really thought that Cynotic was going to walk up to that tri-brush. I think that was the most important thing, and you know, this play just ends up taking a little too long to develop, but Brand's got his faded ashes, so everything's A-okay.
Yeah, and as a result of that, the Ivern ended up getting the Raptors, and I think the Krugs as well is currently up CS. So spends a lot of time, will be spotted on that Raptor wards up there in the top side. Oh, just kidding, baited me, and I think now
nope, he gets spotted anyway.
Okay, okay.
Good job.
Took a blast cone, but now didn't see any pings go in that areas, but will be aware.
Kisno's so mad right now. He's like, dude.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Dude, where's my Krugs?
Dude,
where's my
Krugs?
And Lancelot Link just, you know, warded that bush. So while he is going to have to back off here, he's going to be safe from the ire of Kisno. So I like what Ivan did there, getting slight advantages, but
you didn't see him.
You know, nothing has happened so far. And honestly, it feels like that benefits Dragoon's Goons is the problem. It feels like you don't want to let this Tryndamere get off the ground, or this Olaf, and Tryndamere having no problem in the melee versus ranged, and Olaf is just feasting.
Yeah, I mean, if this game gets out of control, but this is all hypothetical, of course, a fed Tryndamere and Olaf is terrifying, especially for a Smolder. If that flap is down, homie will just absolutely get ran down. And that's not an exaggeration. That is something that we would see in our solo queue games, something that has happened to me in my solo queue games. It's not fun, and I would not want to be on the receiving end. However, the game has definitely calmed down. It was like a 400 gold lead a little bit as the Alistar combo does go through. I don't think too much more will come out of this as they go ahead and back off. Ivan is down here, will not be spotted. I think now the idea is like, oh, there's the Ivern shield. Oh, really good vision toggle there, Chippy. It's like barely out of range there. It's actually pretty impressive. If it was just a little more, they wouldn't have seen him, but that is okay. So Kisno is here now in the area. The Krugs are almost ready for Ivern to take them. Ivan is maybe playing with fire here, no pun intended, as Kisno is around the corner, but don't think they will go ahead and try. But I think with the resets coming in, I do think they could invade the jungle. However, the Krugs will be taken. All right. It looked like for a moment there we were getting ready to get a little something, but
exactly.
We got baited. Yeah, we got baited.
Yeah, and that's a little tough for Dragoon's Goons. I would have expected them to maybe get really aggressive there and try to make a play, but Array was a little low on mana, and they'll take the 21 CS lead that they have in the bot lane at this point in time. I mean, They're down 200 gold. They've almost erased that first blood that went the way of Reluminate. And, just as long as Dragoon's Goons can do something once they hit their power spikes, they should be fine. As long as they don't allow time for Nightstar to get stacks.
Oh no,
We
the
see
solo lanes are
Daption
here.
in the area. Yep, the solo laners have shown up. Lycomal is going to land the double knockup. It's only going to knock up one. And Ivan on the backside is going to have to flash into the pit. But Daption is in hot pursuit despite the route. Lancelot Link is going to target Dragoon and has him in the death realm. He's got no way out, and he's going to be stuck in the pit, and he's going to go down.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Ivan finally falls, but it took so long. It ends up being a 1-for-1. And it looks like the Grubs will go the way of Reluminate despite them losing their jungler.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the overall end of the play ends up going in favor of Reluminate there. I thought for a hot second, the moment that Daption went in, I was like, well, Ivan's just dead. But then I remember you're playing a champion that does not die too quickly. So at the end of the day, it gave time for Lancelot to walk over. Did end up using the Death Realm on to the Olaf to prevent the play from going even worse than it could have been. Ends up killing Dragoon in the realm as well. They get the grubs, and overall it's a positive play. Like, the gold lead isn't that much, but I think at the end of the day you're okay with that. That denies the possibility of a 6 grub comp into like a Tryndamere and an Olaf who will be in the side lanes being just absolute menaces. So I think if you're Reluminate, and if any Reluminate fans in the chat, you're like, you know what, we'll take that play. That worked out very well in our favor despite losing the jungler. And as we're seeing right now, at least a moment ago from the gold, hey, it's looking good for them right now at this moment, minus just a little bit of things in the mid lane, and the bot lane is actually ahead now with Smolder getting that kill earlier. So it's interesting because like there's a 22 CS lead, but
It's also
Nightstar
a
is ahead
plate
in
for
gold.
Smolder.
Yeah.
Smolder managed to get a plate, and that's what the big difference is. The one thing I want to mention though is, they got to kickstart Lancelot Link, right? And that's really what you were looking for, because Dragoon had such a big lead earlier on, and when the gold was toggled for just a moment, Lancelot Link was actually up despite the CS deficit, because
It was 100
he's got that kill gold. So that's pretty big. And Reluminate can hang their hat on the fact that things are looking pretty fine in this early game with a Smolder on your team, with a Mordekaiser who was getting proxied on earlier. Like, this is really good, encouraging stuff. And someone that Ivan can link up with to make plays.
Whoa, Sudsy here getting a little cheeky trying to go for this tower damage.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I mean, it's the Tryndamere classic. It's just be annoying for 35 minutes, and then eventually you'll just 1v5 for no reason, because that's just how the champion works. Can we just talk about how Tryndamere kind of needs a rework, kind of bad, because he's old and the kit's outdated? Just a thought.
Nah, it's perfect. You see what he's doing right now? 103 CS at 10 minutes? What do you mean? What do you mean it's outdated? He's even tanking turret shots here. He is. Oh, listen, I gotta give credit to Lycomoss. Lycomoss has been doing really, really well, pulling the minions.
Oh yeah.
And, taking a lot of damage for it, but ensuring that Sudsy has a much harder time here. Sudsy has gotten 2 plates though, so he's gotten exactly what he's wanted. And with the Tiamat and the Vamp Scepter, he's been good. They did bait him in, but he still has his ultimate, and I wouldn't be too concerned. Pop Blossom would go down, but Sudsy was in the Death Realm. Daption is here on top of Lancelot Link to try and help him out, but Lancelot Link is going to be able to walk it out. Does get stunned, but nothing further coming in.
Wow, I'm actually shocked. So one thing that I know a lot of players will tend to forget is the Undying Rage is 5 seconds, and 5 seconds is a very long time in League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
So Sudsy there living at the end of that play and getting the very clutch heal to survive the end of that play, and ends up being the Mordekaiser ult and the Tryndamere ult blown. The NACL ult was also used as well, but was negated by Lancelot Link's ultimate. And from there, I mean, the play just neutralizes. However, the goal lead is 800 in favor of Dragoons right now. It's mostly from tower plates, especially in the mid lane. As you can see, a 600 gold lead coming in for Sudsy at the moment. So also stemming from that kill earlier as well. But man, oh man, oh, hold that thought.
Array is going to burn all of his summoners, but he will manage to survive. One thing that we didn't get to touch on, because Lancelot Link went to the mid lane, he just hit level 8. He was down 2 levels to Dragoon. Dragoon got so much free time up there. There's only 3 plates left on that top turret. It was really a disaster of a play. And Speaking of potential disasters, Cyanotic is the one who gets knocked up. Kizno and Sudsy are here, and Cyanotic is having a real hard time trying to find a way out. Mom's going to come in, but he ain't going to heal up Burrell, and Ivan's going to be the next one to get chased down. True Shot Barrage coming through, tags both of them, and the flash from Kizno, with the shield from Ivan. Sudsy can't die because he doesn't have his ultimate. So Reluminate cut their losses, but it's still a little rough.
Yeah, so at the end of the play, Cyanotic ends up going down. I think the kill went over to the Baran, so Kizno getting a kill is very huge. Did finish the Leandres a little bit ago. So is getting to that point of being that really annoying champion. Now on the other side of the map, Dragoon started up the Krugs to deny the 6 grubs. So getting even 1 is still huge here, but Lycamos might be dead.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. The Pop Blossom's going to come through, but the Ragnarok from the Olaf going to try to chase him down. Gets enough shielding, and Lycamos falls. Like a boss.
Like a boss. All right. So
not like a boss there, but
no, definitely not.
Because they decided to chase him down, they only managed to get 1 grub. So Reluminate, they're going to be able to get 5 here, and you know, we talked about how they don't have the greatest team for it. But, you know, you get your extra little buddy. Now, the problem is you're giving up a lot in the mid lane because Sudsy is now going to get his 4th turret plate, which is absolutely ridiculous. The teleport coming in from Lycamos, but, you know, Sudsy has no problem so far. He's been under no threat. He has won the Melee v range matchup. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, and getting that singular grub that Dragoon got was actually massive, as we have a fight in the top side. They don't think Dragoon lives out of this. Did burn the ghost. Will just end up going down. Yep, just unlucky. I mean, had no ultimate, so there's no surviving that anyways. And the steel cap's also coming through for Lancelot. Kind of negates a lot of that annoyance that
he should have known that Rel was going to be up there. I mean, it's even in Lancelot Link's name. Look at the first 4 letters. It's Rel.
The big brain there. See, you know what? This is why Yanni gets paid the big bucks. Has the biggest brain out of all of us.
Thank you.
I love to see it. I love it. But as I was commenting, I believe before the end of that play, so getting that 1 grub from earlier that Dragoon got is still pretty huge value because it adds that true damage to the towers. And champions like Tryndamere still love it, and because it still lets them be that annoying side laner. As we see the switches coming over, as we're transitioning into the mid game, Tryndamere is now on the bottom side of the map as Array and Daption will be here in the mid lane. So they swapped over. We're just kind of waiting for the Herald fight at the moment. You know, just trading vision back and forth, making sure that things are going well. Yeah, these Ezreal are starting to hurt.
Nightstar lost so many stacks because he's got red buff. He lost like 5 stacks there because he queued and 3 of the minions were low enough to die to the red buff. He's at 104 stacks at 15 minutes right now. Judging by the way the game has gone and how these next couple of fights are going to go, either Goons is going to take damn near everything on the map and Reluminate's going to concede it all and get far behind, or Nightstar is going to have to fight when he's really weak.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get to a point where Reluminate is starting, I will say they're starting to lose control. I won't say they have as of yet because all their towers are still up and whatnot, but they're starting to lose pressure on the map. As we can see, we're swapping once again. Olaf now in the bottom lane, Tryndamere up in the top lane. They're just being this constant annoyance of, you have to send someone to us. Where is their laner? Send them to us or we take the whole side lane. And they're playing exactly that. They'll just push the wave, they'll leave, and then just kind of do something else along the side of the map. So see, like that, pushes the lane, Dragoon backed off a little bit. We're just going to wait for the next wave. Plain and simple, just hints and repeat. You keep doing that, keep up the pressure, eventually to the point to where you start drawing numbers. So then when you draw numbers, then that gives Dragons an opening to do something else across the map, and then Reluminate have to respond. Now, the only TP that they have up at the moment is Lancelot, who is matching this Olaf, so should not be budging from that lane anytime soon. And then here we go, as got a little scuffle here by the river. So it's Sudsy is getting a top lane tower for free right now. Should be just slapping the mess out of it, and that should be his.
Yeah, it's free real estate, and he's just going to let a bunch of minions die to it, too. Good stuff out of Sudsy, plus 600 gold in the pocket for him. 1 minute and 10 seconds to this dragon as well, so Sudsy just wants to stay up here. Reluminate, as you mentioned, has to devote somebody to him, or else he is just going to take every structure that they have available. And the trade-off is, if you go to answer him, well, Dragoon's Goons, they're going to be on Soul Point, and it's an Ocean Soul.
Yeah. Oh, that actually hit. I'm actually shocked that hit. I thought it was gonna get blocked by the minions. But
I think
yeah, no.
Lycoboss is shocked that hit too.
This Drake is absolutely huge. I mean, if Sudsy doesn't want to, Sudsy doesn't need to go. Can just wait for either Ivan or Lycomos to try to answer them in the side lane and probably answer them together, as we saw Ivan was hovering. But like Dragoons just have to wait, just play the map, and they're doing exactly just that. And they're getting pressure in this bottom side, getting all this vision out. I think the mid lane tower it's like on a not a sliver. I think it's like a third HP, or way less than a third HP. So 900 HP actually, as a matter of fact. Thank you for that one, Chippy.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, I imagine the Herald will probably be dropped here. That's the typical play that we'll see. Lycomos is a minion right now, and how will that go, I wonder?
Well, I like it. He is already where a minion has no minion's ever gone before. Sudsy's going to be the one to get engaged on. Is pulled into the Death Realm. Lancelot Link going to dance with him a little bit. Knock up coming through, and Dragoon manages to get to the back line. Nightstar, though, able to walk away. Lycomos is still a minion right now. Not a minion anymore because he eats a True Shot Barrage to the face. Sudsy down to half HP, still has his ultimate available. His 6th man of the year, Daisy, is about to go down as well, which is, I don't know, a little sad face. Oh, Daisy's still alive. Never mind, Daisy. No, Daisy's still alive. Sudsy looking to heal on these chickens as well.
Oh, here we go.
Cyanotic is going to be the one who gets caught out. He's going to go in, but he's a little split off from everybody else. Gets to the backside, but Array is fine, and so is Kizno, and Nico is not fine. Down you go as Dragoon, half HP. Looking to get a little bit more, but he gets driven away. Daption knocks up too, and Lancelot links the target, and he's gone. The Master of Metal gets crunched.
Yeah, that was definitely a fight that opened up the game for them. They should take this mid lane tower. They should get on Soul Point as well. Objective bounties were just activated. Are you baiting me by not getting the mid tower? Never mind, they got it. All right, but objective bounties are now active. That was the fight that they needed to break this game wide open. As backing on a ward there, they're going to try to continue to play here, but Sudsy should just get out, and yep, they will go ahead and take this Drake. But yeah, no, this game, I would say, at this point, is in control of Dragoons. They've been playing the map. They've been playing the sides very well. Even after that hilarious first blood that happened at the beginning of the game, they just like, all right, hold up. Let's slow it down just a smidgen.
It's the handicap. It's the handicap. Yeah. You know, you had to give it to him. And one thing I want to talk about, Dragoon's Goons played that fight so patiently. Like, the veteran status of these players was on display there. So many teams being as split up as they were in the enemy jungle. Half of you are in the enemy jungle, the other half are in the river, and the enemy teams between you both. And they just looked like they were in their comfort zone. They weren't panicked at all.
No, yeah. I was thinking that, but you actually said it in the correct words. I was not going to say it right if I even tried to say that. Oh, hold that thought.
Yeah, Lycomos is in so much trouble. He's got nowhere to go.
Oh, man.
Daption is up here looking to ruin his good time. Much like Daption ruined my good time in Ranked Flex a couple of weeks ago, Kizno is going to be able to pick that kill up. Yeah, you don't know fear until you queue up with your friends. I'm not very good. And then you see Daption on the other team, and all of you know who he is and go, oh, well, it looks like this is a loss.
That's how I'd feel if I went up against someone from one of these teams.
That's how Reluminate feels going up against Daption right now, because take a look at the score right now. Take a look at the Baron getting done. Take a look at the teleport coming in. Ivan, both of them. Doesn't matter which one, down to half HP. And Dragoon's Goons did get forced away from that Baron. They're not willing to take this fight, which is kind of surprising.
I think the reasoning for that is partially since the
Sudsy ain't here.
That and the Mordekaiser is up. Uh-oh.
Oh, Daption did a good job keeping Cyanotic out, but that means that Daption will likely go down. Kizno went to the mid lane to shove out that wave and link up with Sudsy. The question is, what's Reluminate going to do? They have eyes on this Baron, and they have started it up. It's Sudsy and Kizno in the mid lane, Array off to the side. But guess what? When you have this few members, Baron is the extra member on your team.
This is dangerous.
Knockup. Lancelot has shields, but he's very low. He's sustaining for as much as he can, but Cyanotic will fall, and Lancelot going to get chased down by Sudsy, who's able to clean up the kill and heal up a little bit more, as Dragoon's Goons has completely rebuffed Reluminate, and Sudsy goes way deep for a second one.
Oh my goodness. They're just playing these fights so patiently. A 3-for-0 at the end of that play. It stops the Baron as well as Lycomos. Will be spotted. Nope, so we'll just go ahead and back off. But, Sudsy, you're out, right? You're out, right? I can talk? Okay, you're out. So, It's like you said earlier, they play these fights so patiently. They got Prio in the mid lane, Kisno and Sudzia, that is, and then once they saw the Barons being started, they immediately peeled back. They didn't start the fight until all of them had gotten there, and by the time that happened, the fight was over before it even started. Just Dragoons just played their cooldown so well. They played that fight so well. 2 kills, I believe, went over to Sudzi, including one in the Death Realm. And by God, Dragoons are feeling very good. They're on fire this game. And once again, no pun intended, as Kisno's playing Brand. But they're on fire, and they're feeling really good coming into this later stages of the game.
Yeah, Dragoon 0, 2, and 3 is just a menace in these fights too. Sudzi, this Tryndamere pick in the mid lane, taking Reluminate completely off guard.
Oh,
Tryndamere, one of those champions that's difficult to play against in a competitive setting. And this is why he can just do this, and he's going to run you over again because he's got an Avori Flicker Blade.
I mean, what do you say to that? That's just Tryndamere things, right?
Just nothing.
There.
You just die to it. That's all you can do.
Die. I know the
run from it. Tryndamere arrives.
I know the comms were silent after that too. I was just like, all right.
He chopped down the tree.
No, but they will do the Baron here. I don't think there's really any way they could stop it. I mean, maybe when Mordekaiser gets here, it's possible.
Mom.
Nope,
Mom wasn't enough to get the job done. Nightstar is fully stacked now, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But Dragoon is right behind him. Nightstar's got to try to chase down Array. It's a good flash, and he's able to take him out. And now it's Lancelot Link on the other side trying to kill Sudsy, but Sudsy didn't even need to pop his ultimate. It's easy pickings for him.
Oh no, and Dragoon's gonna sprint it at him. No, don't go for like a boss like this. Hasn't even popped the ghost either. But
oh no, he's going after the wrong target.
He did.
Yo, respect the Leica boss for that one. Uh-oh, Ivan's got to find a way out. Okay, he's fine. He did not get slowed by the undertow, but Dragoon's Goons, the onslaught continues. Many members backed, but Kisno did not, putting that Baron to good use immediately.
And Sudsy got a tier 2 in the top lane. I think Kisno might be dead here.
Yeah, certainly could be. Daisy shows up as well just to help out. Give that one over to Leica Maws. It's a shutdown.
Okay, you know what? Proactive plays, I like it, Sudsy.
Sudsy gets rooted. He's taking a lot of damage immediately. He does have his ultimate, and he is using it, but he's put below the threshold for right now.
God, he can't move.
You just got to keep him there. It's another shutdown for Lycomos, who's just got 1,600 gold in this most recent fight.
But the fight's not done yet. Lycomos is dead.
Lycomos, what are we doing? The dragon's up, buddy, and now Cynotic is really low, and Dragoon might be able to run him down. Teleport coming in. Lancelot Link is here. Nightstar is going to heal up, and now they're going to turn on to Dragoon, who gets rooted but is fine as Daption looks to play Bouncer here to ensure that Dragoon's Goons can pick up the soul.
Ooh, that's good damage, but yeah.
Nightstar does a lot. He's starting to hurt.
It's starting to hurt a lot. I'm holding my breath, sort of. Okay, we good? We're done fighting. I think they're low enough. They should not keep going with this. As oh my goodness,
Reluminate has the
damage.
They're just trying to keep him out, but Kisno back here at full HP. It's just like another boss just shows up with a full HP bar, and it becomes problematic. He tags Lancelot Link, but Lancelot Link's okay. Not a whole lot of damage onto the Mordekaiser. Reluminate has control of this river for right now. Cynotic goes over the wall, forcing Daption away. Keep in mind that the Olaf is just south, and Sudsy is going to link up with Dragoon here.
He's on a
try to make some cheeky plays. He wants to go over the wall and get behind them. Try to do the ultimate pinch maneuver here, but Sudsy, I don't know where the hell he's at right now. He went to Antarctica as he's looking to just shove in the bot wave now.
I don't even know where to begin on how we got to this sequence of events, because the whole thing started with Lycomos getting literally 3 shutdowns.
Yeah.
And we just made it all the way to this point of the dragon. And it's like every time someone spawned, someone TP'd, then died, and it just kept kind of reversing his here. Sudsy might be caught.
Yeah, he's got to run from Nightstar, which is a scary proposition. Mom coming through, does a little bit of damage to Array and Kisno. Kisno's rooted up. Ezreal coming through. Lycomos trying to get the pop blossom off. He does, at least for a little bit of damage. But they crash on a Nightstar. You can't peel them. They're too strong. The headbutt from Lancelot Link means he's now in a 1v1 with Dragoon. And Dragoon is doing what he can, but it gets forced away as Sudsy gets yet another, claims another victim. And the ace, the cherry on top for Array as Dragoon's Goons pick apart Reluminate.
This should definitely open up the base. The death timers are not long enough to end the game, I think.
You sure about that?
This is an 8-1 Tryndamere with 3.5 items, so I could be wrong. Yeah, all right, never mind.
I think you might be, my friend. 10 seconds on both of these members, and the first Nexus turret is under siege. Dragoon's Goons gave up first blood, but it felt like they were in cruise control the rest of the game, and they go up 1-0 in the set.
Yeah, oh my goodness, they take the first game. Dragoon's Goons played that game so patiently. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it was from start to finish. And we have to highlight that one Baron fight in particular where they ended up nearly acing Reluminate at the end of one of those fights. It was kind of insane. They juggled their cooldowns well. They juggled their summoner spells as well, and just also Tryndamere, so there's that as well. So Sudsy playing excruciatingly well on this pick, showing like how rough it is to play up against the Fred Tryndamere. And then you had Dragoon just being a nuisance just to be a nuisance, but that's what we know Dragoon to play as. He loves being a nuisance in team fights, and it goes to pay off as the rest of the team just cleans up, and just like we saw, they aced, not even getting Ocean Soul and ending the game.
Yeah, he was an absolute goon that game. He just did all the dirty work, did a bunch of damage to key targets. And I mean, in that last fight, really huge credit to Dragoon and Sudsy. And because of the champions they have, there was so little peel on the other side for Illuminate. They were able to just crash onto Nightstar, and every 80 carry has been there. That is a really crappy feeling. But we are going to take a short break as the teams are going to step away for a moment. Reluminate's going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one because their tournament lives are on the line. Backs against the wall. Dragoon's Goons need one more to go to the semis. Reluminate need to really pull a rabbit out of the hat. We'll see you soon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NACL Summer Open Qualifier 2 quarterfinals between Dragoons, Goons, and Reluminate. We saw a game where Reluminate came out and got the first punch, but Dragoons, Goons, they had the last laugh. Sudsy in the mid lane on that Tryndamere was an absolute menace. Now in game 2, he won't be able to play it due to Fearless, and Reluminate probably with a deep sigh of relief.
Yeah, so obviously, if you guys look just right above the bands right now, you see what the fearless bands are. The
Might be
chance that
hard
they
to
will not
see.
be able
It
to
says
play.
Fearless bands right there.
It's a little small. It's under us a little bit, but as you can see, as we're getting into the bands, we have swap sides. So Dragoons are on blue side this time. Reluminate will be on red side. I imagine same. Well, the red side's this way on whatever this way. The thing's mirrored, so don't worry about it. But
There's a couple
I
things you don't do on a cast. Point in a direction
point in the direction.
and do caster math.
Definitely. All the time, especially in Risen, I'll get it wrong all the time. Now Aurora is open, which means that
Uh-oh,
will
here
be
we
the
go.
first pick. Okay, so stay tuned for a little song. It looks like Lancelot will go ahead and respond
Ooh,
with the Oriana, which I
very
think is a
happy.
very spicy pick. Did good buff this patch, so is
Mhm.
viable again. We
And
get
that
the
means we're
bomb
back,
comp.
baby. We're back, baby. Now we get to see if they can properly execute Oriana and Nocturne, because guess what?
Hmm.
It sounds really easy, and it kind of is. But teams at this level have really struggled to actually make it happen. And we've
Hmm.
seen too many times where they've been a little disconnected. And Dragoons, Goons, I really like their response, going with some bulk as a Sejuani here for Kisno, and then Sudsy going to go on a.
Or
No,
top.
it's not Sudsy going to get this pick, but yeah, we're going to see a lane dominant pick going over for Dragoon. And Orin the response, so Illuminate crafting together a really nice team fight comp.
Yes, they are. And I wonder what the bottom lane's gonna be. It looks like we're gonna go ahead and I noticed that Dragoon's been on a lot of utility AD carries
Yeah.
with the Varus and the Ashe, with the Ashe being in the second phase. It looks like we're going to continue that trend, as AD carry is totally not a broken role, as it is most of the bans for this second phase right now. And by that I mean all the bans for the second phase, as the Caitlyn is taken off the table. And the response from Reluminate, they have the option of what they can pick here. They'll go ahead and go with the Kog'Maw. That's not a pick that we see terribly often anymore. But with the chip pool being pinched down so far, this really only leaves, I was gonna say, something like Zaya or Jinx up for Dragoons, so they will go ahead and pick the Zaya. Do we get the Recon slap as well? I mean, they could if they wanted to. Yep. All right, the classic, the lovers duo, Zaya Recon, and from here, Reluminate we're gonna go ahead and save their counter pick for the support role, which makes sense. And the classic, another classic pairing, Lulu Cog, can be really stupid if it gets far ahead. And if you have something like that Nocturne to try to force a lead in their favor, that's something that could be very fun to watch, and I'm excited for the second game.
Yeah, I really like what Reluminate has put together here. Like I said earlier, nice team fight composition with a good battery in the
Mhm.
Kog'Maw and Lulu. Lulu should be able to do enough to keep this Kog'Maw alive. There should be enough disruption out of the rest of the team to ensure that he has a clear path in these fights. The bad news is, though, because of the other champions on his team, Daption really only has to go after the Kog'Maw. Kisno
Right.
really only has to go after the Kog'Maw, right? Array, is not going to be engaged on very much. And Sudsy should be able to do a little bit of trickery and try and keep himself alive if Ivan decides to bear down on him. These are two teams that are just going to mash each other in the face with these team fight compositions.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
a matter of if Reluminate can get their wombo combos off, as we are on Summoner's Rift for what could be the final game of this best of 3 series. Dragoon's Goons looking to continue their onslaught and head to the quarterfinals. Reluminate still fighting for their tournament lives.
Yes, if there is a game to do it, this is the one. Trash the mental if you can, as we have a 5-man here in the bottom lane. Array will spot the ward and will walk off. I don't think anything else will come off of that. There's not too much they can use to get in catches with them. And that entire sentence made no sense because I meant to say they cannot catch up to Array. So as you can see, the game one has completely tarnished my mind, and I'm still reeling from the effects of it as nothing stems out of that play, as Kisno is being a little cheeky on the big old boar right now. Probably going to drop a ward here on this Raptor pit or try to go for the invade. Okay, nope, they will go ahead and drop the ward there. But man, oh man, Reluminate got a lot they have to do this game, and if they can bring this to a game 3, which with this comp I believe they could, it's gonna show that they deserve to be where they are. There is a reason they fought so hard. As I mentioned at the top of the day, all of their series went to 3 games to get to this point. And if they can continue that trend, it can go to show that they can be down in a series, but they're never out.
The one thing I love about this game, we finally have mages back in the mid lane.
Oh, thank God.
Listen, like I told you earlier, I love AD carries, Corki, Tristana, Lucian, some of my favorite champions. But golly, do I miss mage matchups. There's just something about watching mage play in the mid lane that is just so pure. It's mid lane in its purest form. It reminds me of 14, 15, 16. It
2014, yeah.
reminds me of home. It's like a warm hug, DBZ.
It is a very nice warm hug. I love mages personally. I like how I'm saying thank God there's no AD mid laners this game when I literally played a game of Aurelia earlier today. So, both flashes burned actually in the bottom lane.
Nice.
Daps went with the Grand Entrance and forced both the sums, hit the level 2 first, and that's huge. This Kog'Maw without flash could basically not move at any point. There's no mobility whatsoever. So really heads up play from this bottom lane to force both the flashes off of both of the players, mind you. So that is a point of contention that we might see from Kisno, who is currently headed towards the top side. Diving Ornn is hard per se. I mean,
It's a big wave in Dragoon's level 3. I don't think this will be much of a problem, especially because Lancelot Link's Q is missing. Here we go. They're ready to make the play. Kisno going to be the first to engage. The Unstoppable is down, but they do manage to chain the CC together. It'll be first blood going over to Dragoon, and Kisno with perfect tanking. And you know what that means? He's going to go back, and he's going to sprint bot lane. He's going to do his camps, and then he's going to do his Kog'Maw and Lulu camp.
Yeah, that's really good heads up play. And like you mentioned, it was a really big wave. I had doubts at first because I know sometimes I've seen teams botch dives on Ornns before, but they juggled the aggro very well. Kisno tanked most of the tower while then also holding the stun for the Bellows Breath. So that is why they didn't waste the CC per se. They held it, and once that was down, they're like, all right, boom, clean up the kill. First blood over to Dragoon, who I think I memed about a little bit in my notes. I said that Dragoon is the X Factor. Will usually sometimes play weak side, but would also go absolute psycho mode. And Ivan slips through the cracks here.
No, he didn't. He saw the Nocturne
he's pinging
on the
it.
ground. and the Dragon's not up yet, so logically, they know that Ivan's sitting in this tribe rush, but that's why Array and Daption playing nice and careful. Shield going down, Ivan losing a lot of his cooldowns. Kizno might want to come in here, but he's down a level to Ivan right now.
Yeah, probably will end up getting level 4 off this next camp. I imagine that Kizno is close, but I was not in the process of looking at the Nocturne. I was too busy looking at Kizno there, and Ivan did not slip through the cracks. You mentioned that he was noticed. Must have been. Oh wow, actually good cancel.
Oh, that's so tough.
Oh, and the wave is crashing too, so they could just shove this in or freeze it and just force them to have to come further back into them. It looks like that Array might hold it. I don't think it's gonna freeze. It's gonna slowly push. But yeah, I completely didn't even see. It must have been like that little weird little pixel that Kizno saw Ivan, and I didn't even notice. But once I saw the pings and once you mentioned it, it's like, oh.
It's only because of the Q, because Ivan used the Q to go faster because he knew that Kizno was headed to his red buff. So he was trying to sneak in there before Kizno had vision on him. And Kizno did not see him, but he saw the Q, that little patch, and because that dragon wasn't up, that's just heads up play right there. He could have just been like, that's suspicious, and said nothing.
Yeah, but ends up spam pinging, and I
This
think
is why he's good.
This is why he's good. Hey, you love to see it, especially from players that want to succeed in North America. One thing that we love to see, especially in the NACL and like the qualifiers and whatnot, are how proactive can these players be. And I have to say, from the games that I've watched Kizno play, that Kizno can be a very proactive player and very communicated as well. I actually don't know who the shot caller is. I kind of assumed it might have been either Daption or Dragoon, but just how this team has played up to this point, no flash, so this could be very detrimental as we'll end up just walking away. Daption just being a bully on this pick, unsurprisingly, like, oh, have no flash, can you dodge it? Nope, well, you're just gonna die, but the Lulu can bail them out as Ivan is making a return trip here. Daption will run into him.
Yeah, I love this right now. They're trying to pick on Dragoon's bot lane because despite them having a lead, they didn't get to shove that wave in all the way. Array is still on Doran's blade. He's going to have to take a back here. And that means that Reluminate does have a free track to the Dragon. And Dragoon's Goons, they're going to pick up that bot lane wave. But then again, they still have to do something here. They either have to back or fight on off items. Sudsy was the one who's been able to move because Lycomos had to back, did not have that teleport available. Well, in the top lane, Dragoon was really low, had to pop his ultimate. Lancelot Link didn't have to do anything. I want to know what the hell happened there, but I want to know what the hell is going to happen in this bot lane. Array's going to be the target here. He is going to get feared, but a little too close to his turret. Ivan once more, but he won't be able to get it.
Yeah, and the end of that whole little skirmish is, as you mentioned, Array had been probably sitting on quite a bit of goals. I think probably it's half of the, oh wow, just splat up BF Sword and Boots, so wow. Really huge back there, will be stronger in the fight it goes on. Now, the grubs are traded on the other side of the map. Now, I think the assumption was that Ivan would go for Drake, so trade the grubs, but I think they're now fully aware that that didn't end up happening. So this Drake is still a contention. As most teams typically, we're being cheesy here. Hold that thought. What's Kizno doing up there? Kizno just here invading at the moment. Ivan not aware of this whatsoever. Will end up losing the red buff, I would assume. Yep.
Yeah, that's tough.
Robbery. Highway robbery.
He's going to come up top, though. Yep, Call the Forge God coming out. Target is going to be Dragoon, and here he comes, flying in as Ivan.
No way, right?
Forward. Dragoon can't get it done. Can Kizno clean it up? Not quite. His ultimate gets blocked by Ivan. Good team play there from Reluminate.
Ooh, okay. I thought it was just a coincidence that Kizno was up there, but it was I think in anticipation of a potential counter gank, and Ivan just hitting 6 is like, well, the Renekton's 1 HP, so it's time to go kill him. And that's exactly what happened. The Ornhorn was blown, and Dragoon tried to flash to finish Lancelot, but the damage just did not come through. And kill goes over to this Nocturne, who I would say you want that. I mean, Nocturne's one of those weird feast or famine champions where if you don't like exit the laning phase with a lead, this Nocturne will just kind of be a suicide missile, and it will not go well for them as the game goes on. And now, as that we simmered down from that top lane play, the Drake is now in favor of Dragoons, which I kind of been a little surprised about. Also, not at the same time, if that makes sense. So they gave up a lot of bot lane pressure. Chippy also highlighted a ward that was there earlier, so they were aware the dragon was not being taken. They knew once Ivan got that kill, they had to reset. That gave Kisno time to rotate down for this Cloud Drake, and neither team really looks like they really care for it very much, as Dragoon might be in a little precarious situation. Probably will be actually.
Nah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, nobody really cares about that dragon because there's bigger fish to fry, like the bot lane here. Now, luckily, the flashes did come back up, so both Nightstar and Cynotic are able to get out, but now neither of them have any of their summoners. It's prime time for Kisno to try and get in there, for Dragoon's Goons to dive this bot lane. Ivan's ultimate is not up. That Paranoia not ready to go, but he is lying in wait. Try to turn this one around. Cynotic is going to be the one who's going to get targeted. The shields are there, but not enough to take him down. There's no turnaround to be had, so a good job there of Ivan defending his bot lane, trying to get Kog'Maw unscathed through the early game, and it's working.
It's absolutely working out. They have not, on the side of Dragoons, been able to abuse this flash timer very much. Kisno's been kind of a little bit more like topside, focusing on that. This Ornhorn should just be used to clear the wave, or be a little bit of an annoyance. We're just being an annoyance. All right, I respect it, Lance, a lot. But
I was looking for an angle. You know, there might have been one, but yeah, just in case any weird stuff happens, right?
Yeah, just in case any weird stuff happens. But the fact that this Kog'Maw, that Nightstar, has actually like survived this laning phase mostly without Flash, I say that as we're 10 minutes in, and this is the second time Flash has been down over the course of the past 10.5 minutes.
I love the bait from Lycamos. Yeah, Cynotic was there, but unable to make a play. As we haven't really talked about the mid lane here. Lycamos with a nice 20 CS lead right now. Sudsy looking like just a little bit of farming troubles on the brand new champion, but everything's, you know, it's not like that's that big of a deal. As Adaption, you mentioned, has to try to find a way to get out of dodge. Lycamos looking to chase him down. We'll be able to link up with Array with that extra range due to having Zion Rakan and survive.
Gotta love that egregious extra range that Rakan gets. Adaption knew that.
It's a lot.
It
doesn't feel like a lot when you're playing it, but when you're playing against it, you're like, that was 2 maps away.
Yeah, I think even in the notes it says like the range is doubled when he's with Zaya. It's like, well, I guess that makes sense. He really likes her. But Adaption, it looked dicey, just able to get out with the dash there. And from here, I mean, Kisno is now on the top side, going for this next set of grubs. It should get all 3 of them, as Ivan is currently pathing towards the bottom side of the map. We got a little bit of a cheeky thing happening here in the bottom lane as they're chilling in the bush. Okay, they will get spotted out. I think they were trying to go for an ultimate on the play there. So, you know, once again, because neither of these players have flash, they wanted to go for it.
Oh, that's a good ward that was placed.
Yeah,
cut you off, but knowing where Ivan is, you want to make sure that he's not able to get off as many paranoias. You want to keep those to a minimum. So, you know, I like that they already know that he's headed to the bot lane. They already know he's trying to make a play. You're going to get top side for free. That's what makes Dragoon's Goons such a tough team to play against. They just know. They've got really great mental League of Legends play.
Ooh, we might have a play here in the middle lane as the Paranoia.
Yeah, Aurora not on the right side, trying to get away.
Stop.
Manages to dodge out on that shockwave. Very demure, very cutesy, but it's a 3v2 right now, and Sudsy is the one getting chased down. Kisno will not sacrifice his life. It's a double charm, double knock-up. They were trying to get back in, but Kisno is super low, and they don't have the damage. Array has finally shown up to the party. He's going to look to take out Ivan. Lycamos had to flash away, but he's going to get knocked down by Daption. It's a double kill for Daption, baby.
Give him the third.
Array's going to be able to clean this one up as Dragoons turn it around.
Oh my goodness. It ends up being a 1 for 3 at the end of that play. Daption getting 2, which is a little ALMAO. It was a dicey play at first. The Aurora ultimate was burned to kind of negate the follow-up that the Orianna could have had. And that's where we were saying, is the ball comp going to be executed properly? Now, I'm not sure if the call was to save the ultimate just in case of a turn that was necessary, but Sudsy ends up getting out of the play. Now Kisno does die, but man, once the bottom lane arrived, it was a heads-up play because I didn't even know that Array was coming until the fight was just about to really get spicy. And once Array arrived, they turned the fight heavily in their favor. It's now a 2,000 gold lead for them. Top lane tower also fell at the process of that, and Dragoons are starting to go off to the races.
Yeah, this feels like exactly what they needed to accelerate the game a little bit, right? We were talking about how They need to get Nightstar into the late game if you're Illuminate. And he's
Sudsy?
starting to do a lot of damage here. The heal gets burnt in an effort to chase down Sudsy, but
It's spicy.
you know, if you can get Nightstar there, everything's all right. The problem is if you get too far behind, it might not even matter.
Yeah, it might not matter as we got some pings on in the middle lane here. Also fighting the top side as well as Dragoon.
Not too worried about that one. But
there it is.
The Goon squad shows up and takes down Lycamaz. Unfortunate for him. The Dragon is up. It looks like that one should be Dragoon's Goons as well. As Ivan not ready to link up on this play. His Paranoia is going to be up soon, but without Lycamaz, it's not really worth fighting for. But Nightstar and Cyanotic, they might feel differently here. The problem is they could get pinched pretty easily.
Oh, this is gonna be dicey. Nightstar does have the Bork
though. Low, gets slowed up, has to try to find a way out. The flash from Nightstar. Can he get away?
No.
Oh my goodness, he autoed the turret. Sudsy will live, and Nightstar will pay for his mistakes as Dragoon and company show up, and Array is looking for a little bit more. No roots go down. Lots of damage, huge. Double shockwave, teleport, and turning the lights out. Ivan's trying to find a way in, but he can't see anybody. He can't get in. Lancelot Link whiffs his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. It's shooting fish in a barrel in this bottom lane as Lycamaz picks up 2.
Oh, by Jove. Nightstar getting baited in, and the TP from Dragoon means they get the kill, but the follow-up is where things really turn to light. The double shockwave from Lycamaz. Oh, this is the League of Legends gameplay I've missed. This is why I love mages being in the meta once again. The Drake ends up going over to Reluminate. That makes it 1-to-1 apiece. I am assuming this is a Hex Tech. Yep, it is a Hex Tech soul. We get a little baited by the dragon icon sometimes. This will be the bot lane tower falling over. That's an influx of gold. It does shrink it to about 1,000 now. And honestly, Reluminate they're down, but they are not out, and they're showing it in this game.
Yeah, they're in a fantastic spot right now. Just because, while Nightstar did die there, they made a positive out of that play. As long as you can do that and keep the game close, if they're able to hang around a little bit, Nightstar will be able to take over. They need a little bit more. And, the problem is all the chaos that gets created. We talked about it earlier on DBZ, is that there's so much chaos that Reluminate can create. If it's a simple front-to-back team fight, Nightstar can go completely unchecked. We haven't seen that happen yet, though, so we could be talking about it, and it might not even matter. Dabshin's going to come in, charm up 2. Nightstar is off to the side. That means it's easy for him to get cut off. They're going to go on to Ivan.
No.
Ivan, even with the wild growth, goes down. Dragoon comes in as well, and it's 2 more for the Goons.
2 more for the Goons, indeed. A 2 for 0. Just Ivan getting caught there, not anticipating Dabshin being there. I gotta say, Dabshin's been playing out of his mind.
He's got a shutdown.
I have a beef with that too, because the one thing I hate about support shutdowns is if you are an engaged support, they are always going to go over. Now, if there is a universe where Dabshin doesn't die, however, Sudsy, on the other hand,
a 1, Lancelot Link missed his ultimate. But Sudsy is going to try to find a way out. He's got to dive, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. But guess what, Sudsy? You didn't put your dancing shoes on. Not very demure, not very cutesy, and it's Nightstar getting his first.
Now the cross map does mean the Rift Herald does go over. I imagine they're going to hold on to it maybe until this next Drake, or just kind of send it into the bottom lane and break open that tower as well. But man, oh man, this Aurora, this is probably the only time I've seen as many cheeky escapes with a champion as I've seen at this moment. Now the last one, of course, didn't end up working, as Ivan might be in a dangerous spot here.
Yeah, Ivan, no surviving for this man, as Dragoon gets another one. It feels like it's just all Dragoon's Goons right now. Dragoon 3-2-1. Array's got 3 kills. Reluminate is lucky that Dabshin's got 3 kills, right?
Honestly, because if those 2 kills from earlier had gone to the Xayah, this would be a 5-1 Xayah at the moment. And then you'd be screaming a little bit as Sudsy is here in the top lane once again. Probably going to get 3-manned again.
Yeah, he's got no ultimate too. Lycamaz is a little low on mana. Polymorph is here. The good news is there's nobody who can really tank this. Nightstar is going to be the one tanking the turret, and he will get enough damage down as Sudsy just doesn't have the HP. On the other side, Kizno flies in, takes out Lycamaz, makes it a 1-for-1. It's going to be a 2-for-1 because Cyanotic is very quickly run out of real estate. I don't think they saw him, though. This could be the great escape. Nope,
Oh,
they
they
saw
saw
him. Target acquired. Daption is sprinting at him. And it's Array with another.
Array with another kill. A 2-for-1 at the end of that play. They're just bullying Sudsy, but Nightstar might be able to beat Dragoon here. Does end up walking away from the play. Did still have flash, so most likely Dragoon would have been okay regardless. But the bottom lane tower fell earlier, and we're just getting pressure up here on this top side to get this tier 2. Is the paranoia is not up. I think Daption is aware that someone's nearby.
Yeah, teleport's
TP.
coming in. They can't take the. Looks like he was on a
Tower
minion.
falls.
So
Nice.
yeah, here comes the call. The Forge Gods can be able to knock up too. Trying to get away as Array, but he did get feared mid-fight.
No.
Sudsy is in the area.
The pullback.
And the team is just completely cut off. And now they're going to turn on to Lancelot Link. Dragoon on the backside is just keeping everybody occupied. Domain expansion. Sudsy gonna get some kills. Better get away. As Lycamos is the one who's getting chased down now. As Dragoon's Goons, they're not going to be able to dive on that inhibitor turret, but they are in full control. They've infested Reluminate's side of the map, and they're not letting up.
Yeah, like the worst thing about the start of that play is I thought Daption was caught, but he was like calling ambulance, but not for me, and then just ends up, the rest of his team shows up, the TP from Dragoon comes in, followed by the TP from Lancelot as well, and just it's utter chaos from that fight. It ends up being a 3-for-1 in favor, Dragoon being the only one who goes down. The Xayah Liv did not burn any sums, by the way, we'll add to that as well, so we'll have those for this next Drake fight. I assume there's going to be a Drake fight anyways, as we're getting a lot of movement here on the bottom side of the map. 3 people up here for the side of Reluminate, 3 as well for Dragoons. Actually make that 4 as Sudsy is up, and also a nice one on the domain expansion call. I don't know if you saw me on the cams. I was pumping my fist in the air when you said it.
Well, Reluminate pumping their fist in the air, but they're punching the air because they have to give up this dragon. In the blink of an eye, DBZ, a 1,000 gold deficit has become a 4,500 gold deficit. It's gotten real ugly real fast. And Lycamos is likely to go down, although Ivan is going to make a play in the mid lane to try and also have the side effect of maybe keeping the Orianna alive. Will barely survive. Oh, he has to use his ultimate to dodge out on Nightstar's living artillery. Lycamos dies anyway. It's absolute depression occurring here in the mid lane. But Reluminate has to try to find a way to turn it around somehow. Nightstar still does a lot of damage. And Kisno gets ripped apart by Nightstar as the siege is on. Can they get the mid lane? Daption wants to go in, and as you said, the Goon is here, and he's got his Dominus, and he's looking for Nightstar. He stuns him up, and he goes down. Ivan is now up the creek without a paddle, and he's gonna fall. It's a double kill for Dragoon, and the ping's going on the Baron. Array's at full HP. It's theirs.
Goodness gracious, Array had to back off at the start of that fight because of the Nocturne ultimate. Just had to get away, blew the ultimate as well, and was too low. And I thought at this moment it was wraps for Dragoons at that fight, but no. I mean, solo kill on the top lane from Dragoon onto Lycamos. Then ends up coming down, cleaning up, picking up a double kill at the end of that as well. This Baron should, be theirs? Oh no.
Daption's gonna give up the shutdown! Oh, Lycamos with a 500 gold claim on the shutdown. Luckily, Kisno is in the area as Dragoon almost died. The Smite Secure is now here and ready to go. Oh, the Rift Herald is the thing that goes down first. Baron going over to Dragoon's Goons, and Lycamos gonna die again. Sudsy looking to chase down Cyanotic and the rest of the squad. Who's hopping in the Rift Herald? Where's the Rift Herald's in the mid lane right now? It's just chilling. It's got nowhere to go.
We're still going.
But Ivan's got somewhere to go.
No
Flying
flash.
forward onto Array, who's got no ultimate. Array is feared and is dead. It's a shutdown for Nightstar. Ivan very low though, and Sudsy is the one getting chased, but they can't continue the chase. It's got really, really ugly lately here, DBZ, but somehow, some way, Dragoon's Goons still benefiting.
I guess Dragoon's gonna drive the Herald into the tower. Or not, you baited me, you nerd. I think he's just gonna go.
Oh, he's going for bot lane. Come on.
Well, we don't get the charge, so that's a little Sagerino on that one.
Yeah, he missed his exit, unfortunately.
Yeah, just a little bit. Cyanotic should be fine here. Actually, I take it back. What? Nope, never mind. Daption's here. All right, just kidding.
Cyanotic is very dead.
All right, so as
Sudsy's ultimate didn't even do anything there. He could have just ran in one direction and gotten closer, and it just didn't happen. The other side of the map, though,
what is going on?
Beneficial play for Reluminate as they get the shutdown.
Yes.
It feels like Dragoon's Goons is happy gaming a little bit.
I don't know if this qualifies in my little lost with the sauce comment. No, actually it does not, because I said that Reluminate sometimes gets lost in the sauce. I think Dragoons are getting a little lost in the sauce this game. They still have a 6,000 gold lead. A number of shutdowns have gone over the course of the past couple of minutes. Do we even need to like highlight how many shutdowns went over? Because it was every single one of them. That is pretty much the tip top analysis for that whole little skirmish of events. Now, I will say the gold did go into various good places. Kog'Maw, Nightstar in particular, has 3 items. This Orianna has 2. Am I going insane? Because I thought that was a Gunblade for a second, but that is Luden's. For a hot second, that looked like Gunblade. Wow,
Luden's
I really...
companion, you know?
I need that item back. That's what I need. Bring back Gunblade, honestly, man.
Luden's companion doesn't really make sense to the fact that it's a gun. But just imagine Orianna rolls up on you looking like Jin with her mask and her gun.
That would be probably one of the funniest things ever. If there's any artists in the community, you should draw that. That would be cool. As Daption might be dead here.
Oh, he is very, very dead. Oh! Huh?
I would pause the game. What?
I've never seen that happen before. I gotta be honest.
Pause
I have never seen that happen before. There's no chrono break. It doesn't matter. We're not at the level where a chrono break is a thing.
Wait,
so when he started following him, I was like, oh, he's gonna follow him all the way to the end. This is awesome. Not that. Oh yeah, he's gonna stop in the middle of the river. Listen. I don't know what I expected, but I was left disappointed.
Same, to be completely honest, and that's actually a huge cooldown that's burned for this next Drake fight. So they will not be available. They should just give up this streak. It should be soul point for the side of Dragoons. The Baron did fall off a little bit ago. They didn't get too much with that. No, I lied. They got every other tier 2. So actually, they got a lot with that. Bro. So I take it back. I take it back. They got a lot with that Baron.
The Goons are gonna break your kneecaps if they hear you talking about them like that.
Apparently, they're gonna send the Goon squad on me, and I don't know if I can handle the Goon squad like that. But man, oh man, just this game has been chaotic for the past like 5 straight minutes to the point where I can't even think coherently as to what's going on because this is so exciting. Dragoons, they're willing to throw everything in the kitchen sink, and the same with Reluminate. These two teams are just throwing everything at each other. Because like we said at the beginning of the day, Reluminate are fighting for their tournament lives. Dragoons are already going through no matter what. It's Reluminate who has to win these next 2 games, as this is going to be Hextech Soul Point going over to Dragoons right now. We're 26.5 minutes into the game. It's a 6,000 gold lead, just barely 6,000 gold lead for the side of them as well, as Ivan might be a little caught here, but it's just the sedge, so I don't...
He's fine. He's fine. And you know, I'm glad you mentioned that Reluminate are fighting for their lives and Dragoons Goons already locked, because after Dragoons Goons got their lead by playing a nice crisp early game, they've been playing like they are already locked for the promotion tournament. They are not locked in right now. They're lackadaisical in their play, and they're just really having a good time right now. They're treating this like it's ranked flex or like it's Clash. They're just kind of like toying around with Reluminate. It really feels like Dragoons Goons are going to need to get one good fight off in order to seal this game up. And with Baron coming up in a minute, that should be the fight. Reluminate, on the other hand, they're going to need to buckle down a little bit here. They have this good wombo combo opportunity, but we really haven't seen it.
Definitely. The mid lane tower will be falling. It was an objective bounty, so a little bit of extra gold going over to them. They do see Dragoon up there on the top lane. I don't imagine they'll do anything with that. Now, we're going to bring it back a little bit to mention something we haven't talked about yet. Ort items are coming through. So we have 2 right now at the moment. The first one going on the Kog'Maw naturally.
He's upgraded his own as well, so technically 3.
Oh yeah, technically 3. That's fair. And then the next one going over to the Orianna, so that Leandry's was upgraded as well. And this is like the extra bonus scaling that Reluminate get with this Ornn. This Kog'Maw is scary on 3 items now, unless a play can be made here to
he's
negate
completely
everything.
Cut off.
Nightstar,
what's going on? He flashes over the wall. Now he's all alone. A huge faux pas. Cynotic trying to keep him alive, but he ends up going down. And that means Cynotic is going to die. And look what Dragoon's doing on the other side.
Is that the game?
He's just winning the 2v1. And now they're going to take down Lycomos too. Dragoon is just going to sit there.
Wait, that's the
like,
game.
I am the GOAT. And yeah, in the blink of an eye, Dragoon's Goons are going to take the series 2-0.
Oh my lordy. So we looked away. We were talking about, yeah, there's a lot that they do get back into this game. They're on 3 items. They have Orn items, blah, blah, blah. And then Dragoon's Goons are like, nope, we're going to end this right now. Nightstar being out of position. This will end their tournament. Dragoons will take this series 2-0. They're continuing that onslaught of we're going just straight up 2-0s throughout the entire tournament stage. And this adds another check to that list.
Yeah, I mean, dominant fashion, right? It
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
look like they were under any threat. The most threat that they were under was game one when they gave up first blood, right? That's
Right.
it. Because after that, they were like just in cruise control, calm, cool, and collected. They got their leads. They played a pretty serious game one, and then in game two,
Mm-hmm.
they got far ahead and they had a little bit of fun with it. It felt like once they went into the fun zone, they dragged Reluminate there with them, and
Yeah.
Reluminate. Oh, listen, Dragoon's Goons were like the older kids, and Reluminate's that little kid in the bounce house where they keep jumping up and down, and they're not letting the little kid get up. He's just flying around. He's trying to get back up, and then they're jumping some more, and they're knocking him down again. You know, you've seen kids get bullied on a trampoline. That's what I
Yeah.
felt like I watched. They were in the game, and then just like that, they were out of the game.
Yeah, and it was a pretty impressive series coming out for Dragoons. Got to give Reluminate some credit as well. They tried to make plays. They tried to like take the tempo back, but unfortunately, it cost them like areas of the map. That so especially in game one, they would lose objectives on the other side of the map when they go for a play. We kind of saw the same thing in game two, except it was a lot more chaotic and a lot of nonsense was going on at the same time, just like you had mentioned. I gotta say, congratulations to Dragoons for moving on to the quarterfinals or semifinals. Am I insane?
Semifinals.
Semifinals. There we go. So moving on to the semifinals, and then unfortunately we have to say goodbye to Reluminate for this tournament. And
Great run.
they had a great run. Yeah.
21 seed, the
Mhm.
farthest a seed that low has ever gone. It was a really impressive stuff. They had a couple known quantities on this team, but a couple players that you have to be a really hardcore fan to know who they are. And guess what? They came together really well. They played some
Mhm.
really good League of Legends. They played scrappy League of Legends, and they never gave up even till the end. So I want to give
Yeah.
them a big shout out for that. Dragoon's Goons, they will be playing the winner of PNWs and the Ducky Getters. I don't know
Right.
who's going to win that series. I had the Ducky Getters going 2-0 in that one, but PNWs has been a bit of a surprise team. So we will
Have
see
been surprised.
how things shake out. But that will be it for us here on the evening here at the Salt Mine. But good news for you. We have plenty of other places that you can go to watch the rest of the games going on. NACL 2, Aegis Esports. What other league is running the OQs right now? I can't remember the name of the other league that has
Titan
the
does
other
it
game.
too.
Titan.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just slipped my mind. So yeah, go check out Titan stream. Go check out Aegis Esports stream. Go check out NACL 2 if you don't already have it in a multi Twitch. But that will be it for us here this evening. So for myself, for DBZ Freak, and for Chippy behind the glass, thank you all so much for being with us here tonight. And we hope to see you later on for some more League of Legends action.